If your feet feel cold, even in a warm room, if you press your shin and the dent stays there for a few seconds, or if you get up from a chair and your legs feel like they're waking up from the dead, what I'm about to show you is going to change the next 10 minutes of your life. Because there is one specific drink, something most people over 60 already have in their kitchen, that can start pushing fresh, warm blood back into your legs in as little as 2 hours. Not next month. Not after a new prescription. 2 hours. I'm going to show you exactly why your circulation collapsed in the first place. I'm going to walk you through 9 other popular drinks so you know which ones are wasting your time. And then I'm going to give you the one that actually works, plus the exact way to drink it so you don't cancel out the benefit by accident, because almost everyone does. If any of this sounds like your legs, don't touch that back button, because the drink at the very end of this list is the one thing your doctor probably never mentioned. Before we get into it, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell, because every week I'm breaking down one more thing the health industry glosses over, and you don't want to miss the next one. Now let's talk about what's actually happening inside those legs of yours. Quick check before we go further, because I want you to know exactly why you're watching this. Do your legs feel unusually cold compared to the rest of your body, even when you're bundled up? Do you notice a dull, heavy ache after standing for a while that wasn't there 5 or 10 years ago? Does your skin look a little paler or more bluish around your ankles? Do small cuts or scrapes on your lower legs take noticeably longer to heal than they used to? If 2 or more of those sound familiar, you are not imagining it, and you are absolutely not alone. This is one of the most common and most quietly ignored changes that happens to the body after 60, and almost nobody explains why it happens or what you can actually do about it. That's exactly what we're fixing today. Somewhere around your 60th birthday, your blood vessels quietly start losing their ability to make something called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the chemical signal that tells the muscle lining your arteries to relax and widen. When you have plenty of it, blood moves through your legs like traffic on an open highway. When you don't, those same vessels stay tight and narrow, like a road squeezed down to one lane during rush hour. Researchers who study aging blood vessels have found that nitric oxide production can drop dramatically after 60, and it keeps declining every decade after that. That single change explains almost everything people write off as just getting older. The cold feet, the heaviness climbing the stairs, the legs that fall asleep sitting in a chair, the slow healing cuts on your ankles. It's not your imagination, and it's not something you simply have to live with. Here's the part that should genuinely concern you. When circulation slows down, your leg muscles stop getting the oxygen and nutrients they need to function properly. Waste products that are normally flushed out start to linger in the tissue. Nerve endings that rely on a steady blood supply begin to misfire, which is why so many people over 60 describe tingling, numbness, or a strange burning sensation in their feet at night. And quietly, in the smallest blood vessels, tiny clots can start to form. You won't feel them forming. You won't see them. But over months and years, they narrow your circulation even further, and that is a major reason falls become more common and more dangerous as we age. Poor circulation doesn't just make you uncomfortable. It makes you unsteady. Most doctors will tell you the same 3 things. Move more. Elevate your legs. Maybe take a low-dose aspirin. And look, none of that is bad advice, but it's incomplete advice because it treats the symptom without touching the actual cause, which is your body's collapsing ability to manufacture nitric oxide on its own. The good news, and this is the part that almost nobody explains clearly, is that certain drinks contain compounds your body can convert directly into nitric oxide. This isn't some fringe theory. It's basic biochemistry, and it's been studied in exercise physiology and cardiovascular research for decades, originally in athletes trying to boost performance, and more recently in older adults trying to protect their mobility. When you give your body the raw materials it needs, those arteries can relax and widen again, sometimes within hours of that first drink. There's also a difference worth understanding between how your arteries carry blood down into your legs and how your veins carry it back up toward your heart. The drinks we're talking about today work primarily on the artery side, helping those vessels relax and widen so more oxygen-rich blood can actually reach your feet in the first place. That's different from things like compression socks or elevating your legs, which mostly help blood return back up through your veins. Both matter, but if your feet are cold and your legs feel heavy the moment you're upright, the artery side, the nitric oxide side, is usually the bigger piece of the puzzle, and it's the piece almost nobody addresses through diet. So I spent the last several weeks going through the research, comparing the popular circulation drinks people are recommending online, and ranking them from the ones that barely move the needle to the one that actually deserves the hype. For each one, I'm going to tell you exactly what it does, what the research actually shows, and where it falls short, so you're not wasting your money guessing. Let's start at the bottom. Number 10 on the list is plain water, and I know that sounds like a strange place to start, but hear me out. Staying hydrated matters because dehydration thickens your blood and makes it harder to circulate, so water is absolutely part of the foundation. But water on its own contains no nitrate compounds and does nothing to trigger the kind of vessel-widening effect we're chasing here. It keeps the engine from seizing up, but it doesn't make the engine run better. Drink your water every day, but don't expect it to fix cold feet or heavy legs on its own. Think of this one as necessary, not sufficient. Number 9 is green tea. It gets recommended for almost everything, and there is real research showing the catechins in green tea support blood vessel health over time. The problem for our specific goal is speed and consistency. The benefits build slowly, over many weeks of steady drinking, and they can disappear quickly if you stop. There's also a timing issue, because green tea has to be steeped correctly, using water that's well below boiling, or you destroy a large percentage of the beneficial compounds before you even take a sip. Most people also make the mistake of drinking it right after a meal, which slows down how much of the catechin content actually gets absorbed. It's a reasonable daily habit for general vascular health, and it's genuinely good for you in other ways. But on its own, it is not a fast fix for legs that feel cold and heavy right now. Number 8 is cranberry juice. People assume it's mostly good for urinary health, but cranberries also contain compounds that support the lining of your blood vessels. Unfortunately, most bottled cranberry juice on grocery store shelves is loaded with added sugar, and sugar spikes can actually work against circulation in the short term by triggering inflammation in the vessel walls. If you want any benefit here, you need the unsweetened, pure cranberry juice, diluted, and even then, it's a slow, modest contributor rather than a fast fix. Number 7 is tart cherry juice. This one is genuinely interesting. Tart cherries are rich in anthocyanins, the deep red pigments that reduce inflammation in the walls of your arteries, allowing them to relax more easily. Research on tart cherry juice has shown measurable improvements in blood flow after consistent use over several weeks, and it's also been studied for helping with joint discomfort and sleep quality, which is a nice bonus if that's something you struggle with too. But just like cranberry juice, the sugar content is a real problem. A single serving can contain as much sugar as a candy bar, and if you're one of the millions of people over 60 dealing with borderline blood sugar issues, that spike can undo part of what you're trying to accomplish before it even gets started. If you try it, dilute it with water, roughly 1 part juice to 3 parts water, and stick to the morning so it doesn't interfere with your sleep or spike your blood sugar right before bed. Number 6 is pomegranate juice, and this one moves up the list because of a unique mechanism. Pomegranate is loaded with punicalagins, powerful antioxidants that don't just support nitric oxide production, they actually protect the nitric oxide you already have from breaking down too quickly. Some research has linked consistent pomegranate juice intake to real improvements in arterial flexibility over time. The drawbacks are the same as the other juices on this list: meaningful sugar content and a price tag that can run you $10 to $15 a bottle if you want the pure, unsweetened kind. Effective, but not exactly practical as a daily habit for most people. Number 5 is a warm cocoa drink, made the right way. Real, unsweetened cocoa powder is one of the richest natural sources of flavonols, plant compounds that have been studied specifically for their ability to boost nitric oxide production. Some of the earliest research on this came from studying populations who drank cocoa daily and had remarkably healthy blood pressure well into old age. People who try this often report their legs feeling warmer within a couple of hours. The catch is that unsweetened cocoa tastes bitter and chalky on its own, and the moment you dump in sugar or a sweetened hot chocolate mix, you've canceled out a good chunk of the benefit. Use pure cocoa powder, mixed with hot water or unsweetened milk, and sweeten it if you need to with a small amount of stevia or monk fruit instead. Number 4 is watermelon juice, and honestly, this one deserves far more attention than it gets. Watermelon is packed with an amino acid called L-citrulline, which your body converts directly into nitric oxide, arguably even more efficiently than some of the compounds in the drinks we've already covered, because citrulline gets absorbed and processed through a slightly different pathway than plant nitrates do. People who drink fresh watermelon juice consistently often notice warmer feet within a matter of hours, and unlike the sugary juices earlier on this list, watermelon's natural water content and fiber helps soften its impact on blood sugar, so it's generally a gentler option for people watching their glucose levels. The rind, believe it or not, actually contains even more citrulline than the flesh, so if you're juicing at home, don't be afraid to include a bit of the lighter green part closest to the fruit. The obvious limitation is availability and cost outside of summer months, since juicing whole watermelons year-round isn't practical for most households. When it's in season, though, this is one of the most underrated options on the list. Number 3 is hibiscus tea, and I want you to really pay attention here, because this one is almost never talked about, and it deserves to be. Hibiscus is loaded with organic acids and anthocyanins that support the lining of your blood vessels, called the endothelium, and a healthy endothelium is essential for producing nitric oxide efficiently. Research on hibiscus tea has consistently shown it can meaningfully lower blood pressure and improve blood flow within just a couple of weeks of daily use, which is remarkably fast compared to almost everything else on this list. It's inexpensive, it's easy to prepare, and people report their cramping and numbness improving within 10 days of starting. Steep 2 hibiscus tea bags in hot water for about 10 minutes. Drink it once in the morning and once in the evening, and add a little stevia if the tartness is too much. One important note, hibiscus can lower blood pressure meaningfully, so if you're already taking blood pressure medication, talk to your doctor before making this a daily habit. Number 2 is celery juice, and yes, I know it had its moment online for reasons that had nothing to do with circulation, but for this specific purpose, the science actually holds up. Celery is loaded with natural dietary nitrates. And here's the fascinating part. Your body converts those nitrates into nitric oxide through a process that starts with bacteria on your tongue, which convert nitrates into nitrites, and then your stomach acid finishes the job by converting those nitrites into nitric oxide. That's also exactly why the mouthwash mistake I'll tell you about later matters so much, because it wipes out the very bacteria this whole process depends on. One glass of fresh celery juice can deliver a substantial dose of nitrates, enough that many people notice a real difference in how their legs feel within a few hours. Drink it on an empty stomach, first thing in the morning, for the best absorption, and if you have access to a juicer, 4 to 5 large stalks will get you about 1 glass. Fair warning, the taste is an acquired one. It's salty, earthy, and intensely green, and no amount of describing it really prepares you for the first sip. But if you're serious about fixing your circulation, it's worth pushing through, and most people say it gets far more tolerable after the first week. Which brings us to number 1, the drink I promised you at the very beginning of this video, the one that most people over 60 already own but almost never think to use this way. Beetroot juice. I want to be clear about something before I explain why it wins. I'm not saying beetroot juice is some secret nobody has ever mentioned. What I am saying is that almost everyone who talks about it gets the details wrong, the timing wrong, or the dosage wrong. And that's exactly why so many people try it for a few days, don't notice anything dramatic, and give up before it has a real chance to work. Beets contain the highest concentration of dietary nitrates of almost anything you can drink, and your body converts those nitrates into nitric oxide with remarkable efficiency. Multiple studies in exercise and vascular physiology have shown that a single serving of beetroot juice can noticeably improve blood flow within a matter of hours, and that with consistent daily use over just a couple of weeks, people see meaningful improvements in walking endurance and a real reduction in the aching, cramping sensation in their legs. Some of this research originally came out of studies on athletes who used beetroot juice to improve stamina and delay fatigue, and it wasn't until later that researchers realized the same mechanism could help older adults dealing with poor circulation and claudication pain when walking. What makes beetroot juice stand apart from everything else on this list is that the effect isn't just a temporary spike. With regular use, the improvement in vascular function tends to build and hold, rather than disappearing the moment you stop drinking it for a day, which is exactly the kind of lasting change we're looking for here. Here's exactly how to use it. Drink about 8 ounces of pure beetroot juice first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. That timing matters because it maximizes how much of the nitrate content your body actually absorbs. Look for juice that's just pressed beets, nothing else added, no sugar, no juice blends. Most grocery stores carry it now for around $6 to $8 a bottle. And if you own a juicer, for medium beets will get you roughly the same 8 ounces at home. The taste is earthy and a little sweet, and while some people love it right away, most people simply get used to it because the results speak for themselves. One harmless thing to expect: your urine may turn a pink or reddish color afterward. That's completely normal. It's called bacteria, and it happens to a good number of people. It is not a health concern. One real caution: beets are high in oxalates, so if you have a history of kidney stones, talk to your doctor before making this a daily habit. Now let me tell you how to actually put this together, because a random drink here and there won't get you the results you're looking for. Start every single morning with your 8 ounces of beetroot juice on an empty stomach. That's your foundation, non-negotiable. In the afternoon or evening, add either the hibiscus tea or the celery juice, whichever fits your schedule better. You don't need both every day. Pick one and stay consistent with it. If you want to accelerate things even further, rotate in a small glass of watermelon juice when it's in season, or the cocoa drink in the evening as a treat that's actually doing something useful for your body. Within the first 3 days, most people notice their feet and legs simply feel warmer. Within the first week, the heavy, achy sensation when climbing stairs starts to ease up. By 2 weeks, walking feels noticeably steadier, which matters enormously when we're talking about fall risk. And by the end of a full month, many people describe their circulation as feeling like it did a decade earlier. But consistency is everything here, and I need to be blunt about that. Drinking beetroot juice for 3 days and then stopping is not going to give you lasting results. The same way taking a blood pressure pill for 3 days and then quitting wouldn't do much either. This has to become a daily habit, exactly like brushing your teeth. The difference is that this habit costs you roughly $30 a month, compared to prescription options that can run into the hundreds and come with a long list of side effects. Let me answer a few questions I know some of you are already thinking. First, what if you have diabetes or you're watching your blood sugar closely? Pure beetroot juice does contain natural sugar, so talk to your doctor or a dietitian about how it fits into your daily carbohydrate count, and consider starting with 4 ounces instead of 8 to see how your body responds. Second, what if you have peripheral artery disease or another diagnosed circulation condition? These drinks can be a helpful addition alongside your treatment plan, but they are not a replacement for the care your vascular specialist is already providing you. So bring this list to your next appointment and ask which of these fits safely into what you're already doing. Third, what if you don't like the taste of any of these? Start with the one you dislike the least and stick with it for 2 weeks before judging it, because for almost everyone, the taste becomes far more tolerable once you start feeling the difference in your legs. And fourth, can you drink more than one of these in a day? Yes, and many people do, but don't overdo the sugary juices in a single day, since that's where blood sugar spikes tend to sneak up on you. Before I let you go, let's cover the mistakes that quietly ruin this for people. First, don't drink these circulation drinks right alongside a big meal. You want them on an empty stomach for maximum nitrate absorption, so give it about 30 minutes before you eat anything. Second, and this one surprises almost everybody, don't use mouthwash right after drinking anything nitrate-rich like beetroot or celery juice. Mouthwash kills off the exact bacteria on your tongue that start the conversion process from nitrates into nitric oxide, so using it right afterward can wipe out a meaningful chunk of the benefit. Third, don't expect an overnight miracle. You'll likely feel some difference quickly, but real, lasting improvement in your vascular health takes consistent weeks, not a single glass. Fourth, and this is important, never stop a prescribed medication on your own because you started drinking beetroot juice. These drinks support your circulation. They don't replace medical supervision, so any major changes belong in a conversation with your doctor. And finally, avoid the processed, sugar-loaded versions of any of these drinks. Read the label. If there's added sugar, corn syrup, or a long list of preservatives, put it back and find the pure version instead. Here's what I really want you to take away from all of this. For years, you've probably been told that cold feet, heavy legs, and shaky balance are just what happens when you get older, something you're supposed to quietly accept. That's simply not true. Your circulation didn't fail because your body gave up on you. It slowed down because it stopped getting the raw materials it needs to keep those blood vessels relaxed and open. And that is something you can absolutely give it back. Your grandparents grew up eating far more beets, leafy greens, and vegetables naturally loaded with these nitrates than most of us do today. Somewhere along the way, our diets changed, and our circulation paid the price for it. So here's my challenge to you, and I want you to actually do this, not just nod along and close the video. Commit to 8 ounces of pure beetroot juice every single morning for the next 30 days. Keep it simple. Track how your legs feel each week. Maybe jot down a quick note on your phone or a notepad by the kitchen counter so you're not relying on memory alone. Notice the warmth coming back. Pay attention to whether that stair-climbing heaviness starts to ease, and notice whether you feel steadier getting up out of a chair or out of bed in the morning, since that's often one of the first things people report improving. Take a picture of your legs today if you're comfortable doing that, and take another one in 30 days, because the visible difference in swelling and skin color surprises most people who try this. This isn't complicated, and it isn't expensive. It's 1 glass of juice, 1 small change, repeated every single morning. Think about everything else you've probably already tried for your legs and your circulation over the years. Compression socks that help a little but don't fix the root problem. Supplements with long lists of ingredients and vague promises. Expensive massage devices that feel nice for 20 minutes and then wear off. None of those are bad, but none of them address the actual chemistry we talked about today, your body's ability to produce nitric oxide on demand. That's the piece that's been missing, and it's sitting in the produce section of your grocery store for under $10. If this video helped you understand what's really going on with your circulation, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button before you go, because I'm putting out a new video like this every single week, breaking down exactly what actually works and what's a waste of your money, and you don't want to miss the next one. Drop a comment and let me know which drink on this list you're going to start with tomorrow morning. Your legs are asking for help. Give it to them, starting tomorrow.